Hey everyone, welcome back to Probability Theory. This will be lecture 30 of the course, and in this section we want to revisit briefly Chebysheff's theorem, and this time in the context of continuous random variables. So let's go ahead and jump into it. And so we'll call this section 3.8, Chebysheff's theorem for continuous random variables. Similar to our discussion of this theorem for discrete random variables, one of the main value adds of Chebysheff's theorem is that we can use knowledge of the mean and the standard deviation to make statements about probabilities, even if we know nothing about the specific distribution, right? So maybe we don't know what the distribution is, but we do know the mean and standard deviation just empirically. We can use this theorem to set bounds on our probability. And so let's restate the theorem. It's the same as in the discrete case, but let's restate it. So let y be a random variable with mean mu and variance sigma squared. Okay. Then for any k greater than 0, we have the following. So there's different ways to say it. So we'll start with this one, the probability that y minus mu, the distance between the random variable and the mean, is less than k times sigma, k times standard deviation, so k standard deviations. The probability that that distance is within k standard deviations is greater than or equal to 1 minus 1 over k squared. Or another way we can say this is that the probability that y minus mu, the distance between the random variable and the mean, is greater than or equal to k standard deviations is less than or equal to 1 over k squared. So what we're doing is we're saying we're able to establish bounds on our probabilities based on knowledge of the mean and the standard deviation. Now, we saw previously, really in the discrete case, we explored use cases there for using this theorem in the instances where we don't really know what the distribution is. So in this lecture, I want to explore an example where we use the theorem to make probability statements without having to actually go through the calculation. Sometimes, as you may have noticed, given a distribution like the gamma distribution, it may be very difficult to actually evaluate and identify specific probabilities depending on the parameters. And so in those instances, if we do know the parameters, i.e. we know the distribution, we can save ourselves a lot of time by using Chebysheff's theorem in place of actually going out and calculating the explicit probability. So let's do an example here. This will be just kind of a general example. So let's say, suppose data shows that a random variable y has a specific gamma distribution. So suppose that data shows that y is gamma, and we'll say it's 3.1 comma 2, right? So alpha is 3.1 and beta is 2, right, for a gamma distribution, right? So, and all this means when we say suppose that data shows is just that, we've done a lot of observations, we've got a lot of observations, and we can just kind of fit the data, right, under a curve that is generated by this specific value of alpha and beta. Now, say we observe a value for y equals 22.5. The question is, does this observation, different ways to say it, does this observation seem likely given the rest of the data? Does this observation seem out of place relative to the rest of the data? Does this observation disagree with the data, right? So like, is there anything we can say about this observation of 22.5 relative to the other data we have? And so just to kind of say it succinctly, I'm just going to say, does this observation seem likely to have come from the same distribution? Right, so you could couch this in a lot of different like real world examples. I think your textbook uses the example of, hey, maintenance requests take, let y equal the amount of time for a maintenance request. It has a gamma 312 distribution. Say we observe a 22.5-minute wait for a maintenance request. Does it seem like that is a reasonable amount of time to wait given the data that we've previously observed or given the distribution that we've identified, right? And so, but that's just one example, like the same kind of thing of like, hey, we've got a distribution here, here's a new data point, does it fit in with the previous data? That's what we're really kind of saying here. This is a more general version of that. All right, well, we know that it's a gamma distribution, so what's the mean here, right? The mean of a gamma distribution is alpha beta, right? So that's 3.1 times 2, so it's 6.2. The variance is sigma squared equaling alpha beta squared. So that's just 3.1 times 2 squared, and so that's going to be 12.4. Okay, and so the standard deviation then is the square root of 12.4, which is about 3.52. Okay. Right, so I've got my standard deviation. Now notice that my observation exceeds the mean significantly, right? So notice that 22.5 minus the mean of 6.2 is equal to what, 16.3? So y exceeds the mean significantly. So this is a really like large value. And how large is it? Well, if we divide this down by the standard deviation, so 16.3 divided by 3.52, I get what, 4.63? Right? So this observation is 4.6 standard deviations above the mean. 22.5 is 4.6 standard deviations above the mean. Right? So this is an unlikely data point. But of course, you're going to have data points that are high for sure. But what is the actual like probability here that an observation of 22.5 or greater is seen? Well, I mean, to calculate that actual probability, let's think about what we'd have to do here. Really, what we'd have to do is, say we want to know how likely is this observation. Well, we'd have to do something like this, probability that y is greater than or equal to 22.5. And we know how to do that, 22.5. Let's integrate from 22.5 up to infinity the gamma function for these parameters. That'd be y to the 2.1 power e to the negative y over 2 divided by 2 to the 3.1 power, and then the the gamma function evaluated at 3.1. Okay. And so the problem here is that this particular, this particular set of parameters makes this integral impossible to calculate directly. I mean, we can't integrate this like we normally could, right? And so what we'd have to do is we'd have to resort to like numerical means, or there are tables that exist, but so we can't easily integrate this. But we can use Chebysheff's theorem to make a probability statement to create a bound, right? So from Chebysheff's theorem, we could say that the probability that, let's see, y minus 6.2, the distance between our observation 6.2, is greater than or equal to 16.3. Okay, that's equal to the probability that y minus mu is greater than or equal to 4.36 sigma. And that's got to be less than or equal to 1 over 4.63 squared. Okay, and so if you do that, you see that this is equal to 0.0466. So the probability that y is greater than 22.5 is less than 0.0466. So it's less than 5%. So this is an unlikely data point, right? It's highly unlikely. It's less than 0.05%. Sorry, it's less than 5%. Okay, so if you had 100 data points, this would occur only 5 in 100, right? So it's very unlikely, right? So there's kind of two ways to think about this. There's two things you can, we can assume one of two things given this result. We can either assume, that y equals 22.5 is from the same distribution and is a very extreme case. So y equal 22.5 is from the same distribution, right? It's gamma, 3.1 and 2, but a very extreme, sort of a very extreme case. That can happen, right? The other option is that y equals 22.5 is from a different distribution. Okay, given how extremely large the value is. And that can happen as well, right? So think about the case of the maintenance work times, right? So if the average maintenance repair time is 6.2 minutes, but I get an observation suddenly of 22.5, well, I might be inclined to go with something like this, right? One thing to say would be like you might call up and you might inquire, did I get a new maintenance person? Do I have a new person on staff? Maybe I've hired somebody with less experience. If that's the case, then my distribution has changed, right? And this observation is going to be a clue that I might need to adjust my distribution. So maybe instead of a gamma 312, my distribution changes to a gamma whatever, 4.62 or something, whatever happens to be the case, right? So this is a quick way to sort of think about what the kind of bounds on a probability problem are without having to actually go through and deal with integrals that are tricky like this, right? We'd have to result in like numerical methods or something to get to this one, right? But instead we can kind of use Chebysheff's theorem to get reasonable bounds. Okay, so again, we kind of talked about this one in the discrete lecture set, so go back there and review that. But if that's fresh, then this is just a little add-on where we examine the value add that you get, even if you know the distribution, but it's maybe difficult to calculate. All right, I think we will leave it there. Next lecture will be kind of a review lecture, and then we'll jump into multivariate probability. Until then, take care.